Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, good morning. Happy hump day to one and all. To those of you listening to us in the Federation and the diaspora, it is indeed our pleasure to bring Island Tea to you this morning. And of course, this morning we're having local mint tea, scented and hot and good for the soul. What do you have in your cup this morning?
This is wonderful. It is wonderful. The aroma, the
Jamster?
fragrance.
Look at Jamster grabbing his cup coffee.
Yeah, he always deals with coffee.
Jamster, you gotta get some local mint tea, Jamster.
The mint
local.
tea, yeah. And when Kortensia told me that, she made this mint tea, I was like, okay, cool. I was expecting the vanilla chai.
No,
but then she
sorry.
told me it's local. And I said, that's the best one there. The aroma, the fragrance, the smell, everything.
And the heat. Ta-da!
Oh, yes.
We're moving the gas this morning. Moving the gas this morning.
So we are having local mint tea
yes.
on Island Tea.
Bush tea, whatever it's called according
Exactly.
to the guys. So we woke up to some sad news this morning.
Mhm.
There was an earthquake in our ally for over 40 years?
Mhm.
41? Okay, for as long as we have been independent, right? Taiwan. Yes. Wait,
So
I
you-
think it's 83.
So you were saying in
It happened in the Shaolin city. It
Mhm.
says, because there's a lot of articles, it's saying it was a 7.4, some saying it's a 7.7, but it is the largest earthquake in 25 years. It is said that 9 persons lost their lives, and they have a lot more that are missing, and at
Mhm.
least 934 are injured. So it says a 7.4. And then I see a next article that says 7.7, but let's hope it was 7.4 because, boy, I see buildings toppled. Rusty, how are you, Rusty? I hope you're not in this city. And, boy, I hope if any of our fellow nationals are in this city that they're okay and that the Taiwanese are doing okay as well because, boy, this is a lot. When all goes well and then sudden destruction, it throws things off significantly. So our prayers are with our brothers and sisters in the country of China and Taiwan as they experience this magnitude of an earthquake. I heard some hikers died. Some people, a van driver got trapped in a landslide because of that earthquake. So condolences to the families who would have lost their family members and friends, and because we are all friends, associates, co-workers with someone. So condolences to one and all on behalf of us here at Island Tea. Azard, do you have anything to add?
Wow. I hear in the news, I too wish to express my condolences to the families. I know Taiwan has been an ally to us for a number of years since we've had independence or thereabouts, and it is just...
So 41 years.
Yeah, it is just... I just... Wow. It shows you how unpredictable life is.
Yep.
In the flash of an eye, things change. We know this, but when we hear stories like this, it reminds us so much more how life is unpredictable, unsure. We never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Did the article, you said the article indicated how many persons have been
Yeah.
injured?
Hold
How
on.
many
It
persons
says,
killed?
see, the articles on various news
Yeah,
keep changing. So let me take the one from CNN.
yeah,
You know, CNN is a very credible source.
yes.
Okay, and it says at least 9 people have died after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the east coast of Taiwan on Wednesday, the strongest in 25 years. Rescuers are working to free dozens trapped after the quake caused landslides and collapsed structures. More than 900 others are injured, and over 100 buildings have been damaged. The quake was followed by a strong aftershock, including a 6.5 magnitude tremor. Multiple aftershocks as strong as magnitude 7 are expected in the coming days. Taiwan, Japan, and the Philippines have all canceled tsunami warnings issued after the quake hit. The epicenter, that is the Xiaoling County, is home to around 300,000 of the 23 million people who live in Taiwan, a self-ruled democracy with an outsized impact on global business and trade.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
And it said 75 people stranded in various tunnels in the Xiaoling County have all been rescued by emergency responders. As of 7 a.m., I guess that's Taiwan time, but there's still some folks that remain trapped. So for those that are still trapped, we are praying that you get out safely. And that you're reunited with your loved ones. And as Azard said, and I will continue to say condolences to those persons who would have lost family members, friends, etc.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. I'm looking at a picture here, and
Mhm.
boy, these houses fell off the hill from landslides. There's a bus that's down, the roads are up. Wow. Oh
Yeah.
boy.
We're
Yeah.
on that news. So I guess, I'm looking at this article and I'm looking
Okay.
at this article. It's Antigua records third homicide of 2024. So it says here, Antigua has recorded its third homicide for 2024 with the victim identified as a 23-year-old Ricardo Joseph from Old Road. The incident took place on Easter Saturday when Joseph and another resident of Old Road were reportedly involved in an argument at a local bar. The situation escalated when one of them grabbed a cutlass, resulting in fatal injuries to Joseph's head, neck, and arms. The 19-year-old male who attempted to intervene also sustained chop wounds to his wrist. Joseph was pronounced dead on Saturday morning, while the teenager remains hospitalized for serious injuries. The alleged perpetrator is currently in police custody and may be charged in short order. The second homicide in the country took place on Friday 13th, where 22-year-old Jamal Rainer from Yorks was killed during an altercation. This incident followed the first murder of the year on January 7th, where 24-year-old Hudson of York's Extension was fatally shot while attending a party. Yeah. So, condolences again to the loved ones, the family of these individuals, and especially the recent killing, the recent victim, Ricardo Joseph.
It's not even 25.
Yeah. And you know what I thought about this is like these are some very young persons, and there was an altercation at a local bar. So there was the altercation, and then one who tried to get involved.
Intervene to stop it.
Yeah,
It's hurt.
it's hurt.
You see, this is what sometimes I said, we should intervene and try to stop it, but I understand all the time why folks don't intervene, but I still. So what can we do then?
Yeah.
What can be done? Because he intervened to try to stop what was happening,
And look at this,
he's injured.
hospitalized for
Exactly.
serious injuries. He's been
could
cut,
imagine the
chopped
chops. Oh,
wounds to his wrist.
Jesus.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We are living in a devilish world. I swear it's very, very evil right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and then with the eclipse that is coming,
Mm-hmm.
I see all these funny things happening, and I'm thinking, oh boy.
Oh no, that's just science.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Oh boy.
But we are able to hear of these altercations, and the world has always been, for the most part, a violent place. Yeah.
But it's getting worse, and to see
You
that we
think
are
so?
what? Look, Haiti. I'm looking at a picture here, right? And I'm looking at the news article from WINNMedia, and it says, and this is from yesterday. Violence flares again in Haiti as PM questions promise political solution. And I'm looking at people just standing around with a phone. There's a dead body on the ground, and everybody's just there. It's just normal now, and this is crazy. And I was looking at a documentary the other day where this journalist was speaking to Mr. Cherizet, and he is saying if foreign forces come into Haiti, he will deem that as an invasion. How is it an invasion to keep get people in order and keep peace?
As I said before, though, violence has always been a part of our world. Sad to say, we look at slavery, where persons were enslaved based on the law too at the time, and persons were treated less than human. We look at the Holocaust. We look at all of these things. We look at wars in the past, and I say that to say that violence has always been a part of our existence, but it's for us as human beings to develop, and we have developed systems whereby we have systems in place whereby,
and the wars have not stopped. See, we had one brewing. I know the Bible said we're going to hear about wars and rumors of wars, and we've seen that, because I remember when the Ukrainians was like, no war is going to happen, everybody going about their business in their shops, whatever, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, are you people sure? I do not want this, but I don't trust that this is not going to happen. And when they least expect it, it happened, and it continues to happen. That's what I'm saying, is one thing after the other. One thing, it was them. It ended up in the Middle East with Israel and the Palestinian. They show you the before and after pictures. It looks good before, and then it looks like an ashtray after. Like, what's happening? I see 4, 5, 6, 7 babies in one incubator. That's crazy. All because the hospital does not have the resources. The other hospitals are trying to help them. And this is, what are we doing? Then right after them, we hear about Haiti. And then we, all over the Caribbean, we have this violence. I see in Bahamas, they had, I think, homicide the other day. Yeah.
I did see the article.
So
Did we address it here?
No, we didn't. So it's like every place, like there's no peace. Everybody's fighting. We're killing out the young men that's supposed to lead in the future. Everybody is short and hot-tempered. It's just
the Bahamas, and now that you mentioned the Bahamas, I have an article here, and there was a mass shooting in the Bahamas. And it says here that the Bahamas, 6 wounded following mass shooting. And this article was published about 24 hours ago, Kortensia, and it says that a teenage boy and 5 men were wounded in the Bahamas on Monday when gunmen opened fire on them. It also goes to say that the Royal Bahamas Police Force reported the victims aged 44, 41, 37, 23, 20, and 16 years. They were standing in front of a business establishment on Peardale Road, south of Wolf Road, at 6 p.m. when a small silver vehicle pulled up alongside them, and 2 of its occupants began shooting. It says that the gunmen left the scene. Police said the victims were taken to the hospital where they were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. End of quote. And it says here the 2 victims who are on bail for crimes that include manslaughter, gun possession, and attempted murder are suspected to have been the gunmen's target. It says both men were being electronically monitored at the time of the incident. Police said that they are aggressively searching for the 3 men that are responsible for this incident. So the victims, those victims have been on bail, or they're on bail. Two of the victims, let's not say all, so two of those victims, two of the 6 wounded, right, were on bail for crimes that include manslaughter, gun possession, and attempted murder. Those aren't light allegations, light offenses. Those are serious offenses.
How does one get bail for offenses as those? As you
Well,
being the lawyer,
the
manslaughter, attempted murder. Ain't you supposed to be chilling out in the car cell until it's trial time?
Well, the defense could bring an application for bail, because the whole point about bail, well, let's look at it. The whole point about justice is that a man is deemed to be innocent until proven guilty. But then there are certain conditions. So the defense counsel and the prosecution, they would have this, they go before the court, and you have to argue as a defense, lay down something. But the fundamental, what the court is looking for is whether or not this person, if on bail, would carry out a similar offense, would tamper with the trial in terms of those persons who would be witnesses. Would that person who is applying for bail leave the jurisdiction so you can't have the trial? So these are some considerations. I don't know what would have been the reason why the court then decided, okay, we could have the bail. But they would have to jump over those hurdles or hurdles like that. You can't, stuff like that.
Understood.
So I don't know what it is that what evidence would have been presented to make the court feel that it was okay for bail to be given.
But do you notice the ages?
But then again, you look at it, that every man, the fundamental principle that every man is innocent until proven guilty. And so these are, bail is something that is available. Yes. But then it must be weighed with conditions in terms of what the defense would have to, and the prosecution and the court at large would have to consider, and those things that I mentioned earlier. Some of those things that I mentioned earlier.
Oh boy. But as I was saying before, you notice the age, and they're all men. 23 again, 16. What if that 16-year-old succumbed to his injuries? What if? Yeah, boy, you're right. Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But right? Why I said this is because I saw that article. And then before that, I saw another article whereby the former deputy speaker, Donald Saunders, was killed in an armed robbery. This is in the Bahamas again.
Yes, I saw that.
This is in the Bahamas.
Yes, I saw that too. But all of this I saw over the weekend.
Yes.
What?
So I saw this over the weekend while we recognize Easter and everything like that. And I said, wow. And this article says, the Bahamas is in mourning as it was revealed that former Member of Parliament Donald Saunders is the country's 35th murder victim. It says, Saunders, an attorney turned politician, was the MP for Tall Pines and Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly from 2017 to 2021. Saunders, 49, was outside a club in Gambia Heights, Western New Province, at around 9:15 p.m. when two armed men approached him, and another patron demanded cash. It says here, and other patrons demanded cash. It says here, the police commissioner did preliminary investigations, and it revealed that there were about 5 to 6 patrons sitting out in the yard when two armed men, both were masked, held all of the patrons at bay and demanded cash. The patrons were they panicked and everyone ran in different directions. And here he says shots were fired. After a while, those who ran, those patrons who ran to the front realized that one of the adult males was not seen, and when he came back to check, they met a lifeless body of a male lying face down. So he says here, the top cop said that the investigations reveal Saunders was not specifically targeted. So you're there at a bar and you have shots being fired. And here it says that the investigations revealed that Saunders wasn't specifically targeted. So that shows
He was, as we would say, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and that could have been anyone.
How do we even come up with these things, right? Because how can you tell me that me going to the supermarket or the gas station, because we see this a lot in the US, by the time you go into the gas station, people are rushing in behind you to rob the gas station. How am I knowing that me going to the gas station to uplift gas for my car entails that I don't get back home? We had a similar situation here in the Federation the other day at the gas station on Wellington Road. That's crazy. It's in our tiny, tiny island.
Yeah. But you realize that these two articles talk about persons. Well, the latter one, the former one that I spoke about with the 6 wounded, they seem to have been targeted.
Yeah.
This one,
fair enough,
seemed to have been, the person dead
was not the intended target. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and they demanded cash.
Yeah. I'm looking at an article here on the WIN page as well, but it's international. I thought Finland was the happiest country in the world. Apparently not. They had a shooting. A 12-year-old student opened fires at a school in Finland, killing 1 and wounding 2 others. So a 12-year-old student opened fire at a secondary school in southern Finland on Tuesday morning, killing 1 and seriously wounding 2 other students, police said. The suspect was later apprehended. Police said the suspect and the victims were all 12 years old. We don't know if it's a male, we don't know if it's a female, but one of the students has died instantly, after being shot. And the other 2 are seriously wounded. The weapon used in the shooting was a registered handgun that was licensed to the suspect's relative. The detective said the suspect was detained in the Helsinki area less than an hour after the shooting with a handgun in his possession. Police said he admitted to the shooting in an initial police hearing, but there is no immediate word of motive, police said, adding that the case is being investigated as a murder and 2 attempted murders. Apparently, though, I'm reading this and it says there's a minimum age of criminal liability in Finland, and that's 15, which means the suspect cannot be formally arrested. A suspect younger than 15 can be heard by the police, after which they will be handed over to the Finland's child welfare authorities. And the article goes on to say in the past decades, Finland has witnessed 2 major deadly school shootings. In November 2007, an 18-year-old student armed with a semi-automatic pistol opened fire at the premises of the Jukela High School in Tuusula, southern Finland, killing 9 people. He was found dead eventually with a self-inflicted wound. And less than a year later, in September 2008, a 22-year-old student shot and killed 10 people with a semi-automatic pistol at a vocational college in Kauhajoki, southern Finland, before fatally shooting himself. Wow, so they say in the Nordic nation of 5.6 million, there are more than 1.5 million licensed firearms and about 430,000 license holders, according to the Finnish Interior Ministry. Hunting and gun ownership have been long traditions in the sparsely populated northern European country. Wow. So they said following the school shootings in 2007 and 2008, Finland tightens tightened its gun laws by raising the minimum age for firearms ownership and giving police greater powers to make background checks on individuals applying for a gun license.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why these guns aren't locked away from these children. Although we have very smart children and they can find them and they can find a way to open the lockbox and they can. But why do these children have access to these things? I remember when fighting in school was you boxing up, shoving down, maybe handing somebody to kick, slap something, and it was done. Then you start throwing stones, you start throwing bottles, then the matches came into being. Now it's guns. You have to be done. What a life. Nobody fights with their hands anymore. I don't know what went on amongst those students, but one's now dead. Oh boy. This is we live in a crazy world.
On a lighter note, the United Airlines makes its inaugural flight new service to Guyana.
Yeah.
And it says here that the Guyana government has welcomed the inaugural non-stop service by United Airlines, saying it will serve as a major catalyst for further enhancing the country's connectivity to the global tourism marketplace. It says here, this is a significant development for Guyana's tourism industry. It underscores the increasing interest in travel between Guyana and the United States, a key source market for us. This new service will not only provide our citizens with greater travel options, but also serve as a major catalyst for further enhancing Guyana's connectivity to the global tourism marketplace. End of quote. That was a quote from the Tourism Industry and Commerce Minister. And he said that at the ceremony welcoming the United Airlines flight from Houston to Georgetown on Monday night. So it's and this is a quote as well, this direct flight will make it easier and more convenient for travelers from the United States to experience Guyana's unique beauty and diverse offerings. We expect this to lead to a significant increase in visitor arrivals, which will have a positive ripple effect throughout our economy, creating jobs, supporting local businesses, and contributing to the overall growth and development of the tourism sector. That is what the minister said. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's good. Any new airlift is good. I know a lot of Guyanese will welcome that because it's a next way of getting home. And we know a lot. I know a lot of my folks live overseas, so that's good. And then it can increase tourism, and Guyana's booming with oil.
Yes,
so everybody wants to come. Yeah, everybody wants to come.
The
now.
U.S. is really, and U.S. businesses.
Yeah, taking interest, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at them. Yes. Listen, there's an article, but I need to listen to it in its entirety. I think I shared it with you. And okay, so we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be right back. So stay tuned.
Yes. Oh, and we might have, we're expecting a call from Rusty.
Yes,
Rusty is in Taiwan.
Yes.
And as Kortensia indicated, there was an earthquake in Taiwan. And so just about to hear from him, and so we're gonna take a short break.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Life is unpredictable. Don't miss the opportunity to provide your loved ones with the financial protection and peace of mind coverage they deserve with the Family Indemnity Plan from Kuna Caribbean Insurance. The Family Indemnity Plan covers final expenses such as funeral costs and outstanding debt in the event you or your loved one passes away for up to $30,000. No medical examination is required. Contact your credit union or one of their approved Family Indemnity Plan providers to enroll today. To learn more, call 466-9453 or 762-2973. Visit their website at kunacaribbean.com. Kuna Caribbean Insurance, for all people.
Yes, good morning. We're back again, and we want to say thank you to those who are listening, those persons who are viewing, and those persons who comment on whether it's Facebook, whether it's the YouTube, or whether they call in, and whether you call in and express your views. So I want to say thank you so much. And Kortensia, you were saying something just as. Oh, we have Rusty.
Hi, Rusty. Good morning, Rusty. We miss you, Rusty.
Hey, good morning. I can't really hear you guys on the phone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yes. So before Rusty continues,
I'm not here.
Rusty, you could hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Let me.
Azard, I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, you can hear him. Good. That's good.
Can you hear Jams as well?
Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. My phone I just turned on, and I just checked the call leveling, and he turned it down.
Yeah.
As soon as Rusty called.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Oh, yes, much better. Much better.
Okay.
Rusty, so how are you?
All right. Okay, I guess you guys want about the earthquake. So let me just start by saying I am tremendously okay.
Okay.
As of now.
Glad to hear.
Well, but I must tell you, it was horrifying for me. It was terribly horrifying for me. I live in a building that is 50 stories tall, and I'm about in the middle. I don't want to give it my floor, but I'm in the middle. And when the earthquake started, it started as a normal earthquake. So I wasn't really worried because I've had many earthquakes, more earthquakes in my life I've experienced in Taiwan.
Okay.
So it's like every year I have like 10, 12 earthquakes, that kind of stuff. But this time it started to rock. Like, you know when you push your child in a swing?
Yeah.
That's how my building was going. And it's when you're higher up, it feels worse.
Yep.
So it was just going wild. And then I didn't know what to do. So I grabbed my glasses, put my clothes on, grabbed my phone, and run downstairs because you couldn't use the elevator. The elevator, you couldn't use it. So I had to run downstairs. And what I noticed as I was going on the steps, because the first time I used the steps, the metal around the railing to use the steps, it was all rotten in. So you see all the rust falling off. I was so scared. I had to take my time because I have a little bad knee. So I was taking my time. I got down to the bottom of the floor, and then I started feeling a little better. But I was downstairs for an hour waiting for news because I can't speak the language and I can't read the information. So I was downstairs without any information at all. But then my friends came and said, Rusty, why are you outside these buildings? Because I live around buildings that 20 and higher.
Yeah.
Because he said, listen, if anything go to fall, you're going to get hit. You should have run down to the back of the building and go to the empty land down there. So I know to do that now. But then later on, they told me there were aftershocks. You don't feel the aftershocks on the ground. You feel them when you're up in the air. Because since I came up here, I felt about 12 of them in my room.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, the earthquake has done a lot of damage to people like me, students. And I want to talk about our students. Because people think, okay, the earthquake went this morning for us and it's over. It's not over. I use 3 trains to go to school. The train system all damaged. They're actually fixing the one by me right now. They're trying to get sure everything's okay. So he said drop a bit, and so it's not moving smooth on the same level. Okay. So that's a big problem to get to school. And listen, I am so glad. God is so good to me. Yesterday I had to go to the hospital and to do my monthly medicals. And if it was today, I don't know how I would have gotten back home, because you have a card you use to pay for your transportation, like bus and your train. But it's very cheap. But you can't use that in the taxi unless you have like a line card, or you have Uber service. And I don't have an Uber stuff. I don't believe in Uber stuff. I just choose a train. But if I had gone there, I would have stuck, because I would not have known how to get back home, or would not have had money to get back home. So it's a crazy thing for students. And this going to happen to other students, not just me alone. I live far, but most of the students who live close by, they're not going to get a taxi that easily, because if you can't speak the language, the taxi is going to avoid you. They're going to go to a Chinese person or Taiwanese person to help them first, because they cannot understand where they're going and coming. So when people are talking about, oh, okay, the earthquake is finished and everything is done, please think about your child. If you have a child up here, please contact your child, make sure they're financially okay. Because some of them, I know that they party every weekend and that kind of stuff, and they probably won't have any money and that kind of stuff. So you really need to look at that. We're in New Taipei, so we didn't get the damage like Hualien, where the earthquake was really centered. So I feel really safe. This building, I was told, is recently built, so it's less than 25 years. And so the last major earthquake they had was about 25 years ago. So my building is prepared for up to a shock of earthquake of 10 point whatever. That's how it felt to me. But it can withstand that shaking. So all of that is okay. When I came back up to my apartment, nothing, just books and stuff drop off the shelves. But that was basically it.
Okay, Rusty, let me ask you a question. Have you heard from any SKN students? I mean, I was wondering if maybe anyone tried to start maybe a WhatsApp group to make sure everyone is okay, or have you heard from?
I don't think anybody started a group, but like I said, there are students who live in the same big building with me. They go to different schools. So the one lady who know me very well, who actually got the apartment for me, we was speaking and she was telling me what's going on, that kind of stuff. But only all the information I have is from her or what I now see on TV. I don't know about the school and stuff like that.
Can you give us any insight on the deaths and injuries, at least based on what you heard?
So insight on
deaths and injuries.
Oh, well, the last thing I saw on my TV was 4 deaths. But I'm now hearing my friend just called me from back home. He told me he heard on CNN is over 100 people died. So I mean, I was praying for you guys in the last half an hour. So I wasn't watching CNN, so I don't know. I really don't know how the deaths. And if there's any deaths, it would be in the Hualien area, because you had landslides and people using the road. So it would be deaths like that, not necessarily for a building crashing on you and that kind of stuff. I'm sure you see guys the pictures of the two leaning buildings. And they were able to take people out of them as well. So I don't think there were murders in those buildings. Nobody died, from those buildings.
Okay, that's well, that's good. So could you tell us
it's really
exactly what time? Because some people might not be aware of the time difference. Exactly what time did the earthquake happen? Because I knew
Well, it happened. Yeah, it happened. It happened for me this morning around 5 to 8. Because when it started to shake, I looked at my clock instantly, about 5 to 8. I actually thought it was about 10 minutes long before I get out of this building. But it might have been less. I was just panicking. So at 8 o'clock, I decided, let me get downstairs. And I started to get downstairs. Probably got downstairs about 10 minutes past, because there's a lot of steps to go down. And it wasn't going to rush down and hurt my foot and that kind of stuff. So it was about 5 to 8. Some say 8, some say 5 to 8, around that time.
Is there some kind of advisory against using elevators during an emergency like that? Why didn't you take the elevator? No, I just wondered. No, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm laughing because the first thing they told me when I came into the building is that if there's any earthquake, the elevator is going to stop. It's not going to work. So I went to the elevator and I'm pressing like hell of the buttons, and there was no light to press because it was already cut off. So everybody was using the stairs down. You had to use the stairs, no elevator. Because anybody who was on the elevator at that time, it would have gone. They're so fancy up here. These people are so fancy in the technology. Once you're on the elevator and it's, let's say, coming down to reach floor 13, and you have to, it will stop on 13 and you have to walk off. If you're going it's on 13, you have to come off. It will stop at the closest floor and you come off the elevator and it will shut down. It's really that these guys are really advanced with their technology. And they have to be, because they get earthquakes almost every day. Almost every day they get earthquakes here. I mean, a normal earthquake like a 5 and less means nothing to me. Means absolutely nothing to me. But they're accustomed to bigger earthquakes from previous times. So they build the buildings for earthquakes. I mean, if you look at all the buildings around my property, as I was showing some of my friends this morning when I had called them, which would have been night for you guys, they were saying, but Rusty, you're building tall, you ain't afraid you fall. Because I actually said to a guy, a friend of mine, I remember, I'm old, I remember 1974 earthquake. You might have remembered that, Jamster. 1974 earthquake, when they said that a policeman jumped on the top of the police station to the ground. I don't know if you heard about that story. I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I actually felt like jumping through my window when the building started to sway. And then my friend from St. Kitts who lives in the building here, she said, Rusty, you noticed the building was swinging east to west and not north to south. I said, girl, I didn't even check that. But it was swinging a different direction. It was really swinging a different direction. That's what she said to me. Yep.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what the government response has been in the immediate aftermath. I mean, it might not be so apparent where you live, but based on what you know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what it is, remember, Tsai Ing-wen, the president right now, she's going out. Next month, she's going to turn over to the incoming guy, president. Mm-hmm. And right, so she actually had, they met for the emergency meeting, organization council meeting, and they're already looking at the train system because all the train system has shut down. Because most of the train system that I go to school is going to some hill somewhere or on the ground somewhere. So that they're checking them out all the way. As a matter of fact, the train that I go to school on, there's some damage on it, but it stopped. And it doesn't have a driver. There's no driver on the train. So it stopped, and there was an announcement in the system saying you have to walk to the closest station. So once you get to the closest station, you have to walk off. I mean, I am so glad I wasn't on the train because I wouldn't have known what to do, where to walk on this thing. I'd have been scared. I would have been really scared. But they came off, they walk off, and they closed all the stations after that. Once they came out, they closed all the stations after that. But they are meeting now. They're doing their security stuff because China is just over there waiting for something to happen. So they're doing the military checks. They're doing the safety checks. They're doing the building checks. They're doing all the checks that I heard them mention. And even the hospitals. They're checking the hospitals. They're checking the electricity. They're checking the water. They're doing that. That's as much as I can tell you. I'm hearing from the TV what's going on. Because there's some people without electricity, especially in Walling, in their houses and stations and that kind of stuff. So everything is being checked. Everything is being checked.
Okay. Guys, you have any more questions?
Well, I just want to say, Rusty, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that the students from St. Kitts and Nevis are okay, and I'm glad that the majority of the population, even though it is one of the strongest in 25 years, as some reports say,
Correct.
that so many persons are still what we would say considered, safe. Yeah.
My question for you, Rusty, though, do you know of any Kittitian students that are in that particular area? Because I think that's the southern side of Taiwan.
I don't know much about those in my area. And then their colleges close to Huali that students might be. I don't know much about them. Okay. But you see, you asked me about, but Jamster asking about the government in Taiwan. What are they doing? But let me just say this, and this is my opinion only. Opinion only. You guys gotta love politics. I hadn't gotten a call from the embassy here in St. Kitts. Nothing from the embassy. No call, nothing. But my friend from St. Vincent and my friend from Palau and those other countries all got calls to find out how you're doing. Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe they call. I'm not doubting. Let me don't throw any shade on anybody. Maybe think it's government ambassador might have called to find out how the students are doing, but I didn't get a call. That's all I can say on that, right? But it goes further for me because St. Vincent offers their students additional funds for problems and security, stuff like that. Whether it's a grant or loan or whatever it is. But they do offer them some funds to help them in any situation. You got to remember, we are way behind God back. It is now what? Quarter to 9 for me. It's quarter to 9 for you. But it is morning for you and night for me. Yep. And most of us don't have no family outside here. It's just friends. And so if anything happened to you, like when I first came here and I had to go into the hospital, it was just me alone. I went to the hospital with no clothes, no money, no nothing. In the hospital for a whole week. And that's the problem. But at that time, let me be careful. At that time, the ambassador then, she did come. Somebody told I was in the hospital. She did come and she looked at me and stuff and she helped me out. I must be honest with that. But I've been in the hospital several times since. And I mean, nobody's going to pay attention to Rusty because Rusty's always on the ear banging him out about government. Even the same government, I must mention this, even the same government said to me, and it's important to me to say this, oh, Rusty, when I came home in 2022, oh, that's Rusty. I don't know why we're helping him because he always cussing us. He always cussing us on the ear. And I laugh. I mean, I can't understand because I say things about the government that I don't like what they're doing. I shouldn't say it. I should just hush about and deal with it. I can't deal with that. But back to the disaster stuff. There are kids out here. I call them kids because I'm an old man. I call them Dr. God. I'm an old man. I think they need to look after them, probably call them, email them, however they normally get in touch with them. Make sure that they're all okay. Those that I know, I will WhatsApp them and find out if everything okay with them. Those that I don't have a contact information for. As a matter of fact, about 2 months ago, I met a cousin up here. I think it's from Mali. He asked me, are you cousins with Marcella Label? I said, yeah, Marcella Label is my cousin. He said, she's my cousin too. So I said, okay. And that was it. Yeah, he's at my same school. So I don't know where they're living. I don't know if they're in the dorms or what have you. I don't know. But I believe that if you guys have friends at home, call them. Find out if they're okay and see what can be done for them. That's all I could say on that.
Okay.
Most of my friends are from St. Vincent. Most of my friends are from St. Vincent and the other islands.
Okay.
Most of my friends are from St. Vincent.
Well, Rusty, that experience really seemed like, it seemed like it's a very daunting one. But the silver lining is the fact that you're okay, and our people, based on reports, the students seem okay, and the majority of persons seem okay. We have a caller.
Yeah, we'll take a call for Rusty. We'll take 1 or 2 calls. There were some people calling earlier.
Sure. No problem. Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Greetings, IT.
Greetings.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well, once you all are well. Extending greetings to Rusty, Rusty, you can hear me?
Greetings. Good morning.
I am well, once you all are well. Extending greetings to Rusty, Rusty, you can hear me?
Yes, I can. Good.
Okay, well, give thanks for your safety.
Yes, I can.
Especially man like you who talk out like me. And don't stop at all. Don't stop sharing your views. Don't stop talking to the people. And give thanks again for your safety and for the safety of others.
I will never stop.
If anything they happen to other people you would hear, other people from our side. And the talk that Gumbs to make concerning the communicative vibration setting up a WhatsApp group, it is very important. So consider doing that, please, so that you all can be in touch with each other. Please consider doing that. We don't have nothing much more to say. We just call to say give thanks for your safety in that area there with what to take place. And just continue to stay safe, and please consider setting up the WhatsApp group, especially in that area where is prone to earthquakes so often. I didn't even know Taiwan gets earthquakes so often. I guess is the location. And as you say, China just there lurking. but God is good. God is good. Give
Correct.
thanks.
I appreciate
Blessed
that. I appreciate it, Carl.
Okay.
Well, he's gone, so
Yes.
no. 8:51. Rusty, you can go ahead and wrap up if you want. I don't have any more calls at the moment.
The only thing I want to tell y'all, the last thing I want to tell y'all, I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I really don't think, because the other thing they said on the news is that these earthquakes associated with the major earthquake, they will take the alert or the warning off within a week. So throughout the whole week, we still could get major shocks. And let me tell you, I don't believe in nothing called an aftershock. The earthquake was 7 point something, and then we had a 6.4 aftershock. That's a normal earthquake for me. But I understand the point that is an aftershock, but that's a normal earthquake for me. So I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to stay up, I can drink my coffee and stay up all night and see what happens, because I'm scared. I must be honest.
Rusty, I'm gonna pray for you and you're gonna fall asleep, because I went through a big one in Trinidad as well, where the building was swaying from side to side, and I know our Caribbean, I don't know if that hotel was built to sway from side to side, but that went through massive damage as well. I stood in a doorway, and then eventually I crawled under the desk that they have in the hotel room. So I ducked cover and I hold on, and I can understand, but eventually I fell asleep. I just prayed, and I'd be like, Lord, if this is it, then. But I need some sleep, because I need to work in the morning. But I'm gonna pray that you get some good sleep.
I don't know if I'll fall asleep, but I tell you, I'm so worried. First thing I did as I got downstairs, I called my wife and I called my kids, and I let them know what was going on, and so they were okay. And they call me now and then. They call me back and forth to find out if I'm okay and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
but I'm nervous. I'm not going to kid you. Because living where I'm living, if this building were to fall, there is no way I'm going to make it out. Absolutely no way.
Oh, boy.
Okay, Rusty. Yeah, we have another call. Take one more call.
Okay, caller, go.
No problem.
Go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning.
How are you?
Rusty, man, it's nice to hear your voice, man.
Hello?
Yeah. Hello, man. Good morning. How you guys doing, man?
Rusty, can you hear
I'm not
him?
hearing this, but I'm not hearing the caller very good.
Okay.
Really?
He was saying it's nice to hear your voice, Rusty.
Okay. Thanks.
You know, I was actually wondering what became of you, man, a few days ago. To hear your voice under these circumstances, man, is you know, I just want to reach out and say, you know, be careful out there, man, and that WhatsApp chat, man, it's very important for you to get that communication going, man. So you can have a mechanism in place for persons who got students over there can find out what's going on with their family and their loved ones in times like this. But I just want to give you some advice, man. Not because you can't talk the language that much. Just make sure, man, every time common sense prevails, all right? Because when they had that September 11th situation here, I understood that persons were told to stay in the building, everything is safe. Don't get carried away. Don't let anyone convince you, man. Make sure common sense prevails every time. All right? Yeah. And good luck, man. You know, be safe out there,
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Nice
I appreciate
hearing
it.
you again.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good one.
Yes.
Okay, let's take one more. I mean, okay, they're gone. So, Rusty, we're going to have to wrap up now. So, I give you your final word, and then we got to prepare for the farm report.
Well, that's just it.
I don't want Esmond to beat me up.
That's okay. You can do like what you did this morning with Midnight Field. Call me if anything, if you hear anything. I'll be up.
All right.
Okay, right.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, James. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Stay safe.
Kortensia, I really appreciate it. Azard, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Rusty.
problem.
And we'll pray
Take care,
for you.
guys. I will continue listening to the show.
As best as you
Okay,
can,
great.
stay safe.
Please do.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a few.
No, you have about 4. You can talk for about 4 minutes, and then we go to the break for before Esmond's standing there. I don't want him to beat me up.
So we have our highly anticipated farm report. It's been a while since we've had the farm report, and they are back.
2 weeks?
You know, it's about
that.
2 weeks. Yeah. So it is really something. So we have the farm report next. We've heard about what has happened in Taiwan, we see that a number of persons are safe, considering the 7.4
magnitude earthquake
is not easy. That is a very, that could have been a very destructive, life-threatening disaster. And I'm wondering, perhaps if it wasn't for the advancement of Taiwan, if that was anywhere else, the impact would have been so much greater in terms of, I'm thinking, lives and everything. Because based on the article, it said 9 persons?
So far.
Yeah,
9,
so far. Yeah.
Because we don't know, persons are still trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as they clear up, as they clean up, especially in the landslide, that's where I'm concerned, because you don't know who went down with what.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hump day. It's supposed to be a good day because it's closer to the weekend, but we have too many things happening around the world. Too many things. I see some aid workers in the Gaza, where they were feeding the children. 8 of them died, so they're packing up shop and leaving. So those children won't have any food.
Yeah, we could take
sure
a call.
Can.
A call.
Good
Go ahead.
morning. You're live on Allen T.
Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Hi, Mr. McCall.
Sorry, Miss Rusty. I wanted to ask him if there was anything that was similar to our drop cover and hold on when you're living in Taiwan, right? Does the same thing apply? Bear in mind the buildings are taller and so on. If there was some other kind of advisory that they get in those circumstances. And yes, you always want to run outside.
Yeah.
But after that, I was wondering what happens. Is there like a shelter? Well, I suppose they have something like NEMA there, equivalent to a NEMA. But are there shelters just in case you can't go back into the building, and those kinds of things, right? And I don't think it necessarily has to be restricted to the advisories in a particular country. I'm wondering if our authorities can't issue guidelines in the case of any emergency, not just earthquake, hurricanes, typhoons, civil unrest, for instance. What do a citizen who happen to be there do? I think it would be good. Yes, the onus is on people traveling to distant lands and so on to take their own security into account. But the government, I think, can issue particular guidelines, I think, for situations like this. I don't think there are any. Well, I haven't heard of any. I don't know if you have.
Guidelines?
That's about it, really. I just thought that it would be good if citizens are apprised of events like these beforehand, before they occur, and not be running up and down as to what to do next.
Rusty's listening, so if anything, he could, he might
call back and give a response to you, Mr. McMahon.
Right.
All right. Thanks for your contribution as usual.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back to you, we'll have the farm report.
Found the South 98.9 FM.
Homeowners and builders, here's something you must know. No Caribbean island is safe from earthquakes. We all live within a seismic active zone. But there are measures you can take to minimize the impact of an earthquake. Find out whether your area is zoned for building. Talk to your contractor about what you can do to limit damage. An earthquake can strike at any time.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WINNFM.
Hey, what's up, Sean?
What's up, Keisha, my girl?
I hear scrolling on my phone and I see Shop, Hunt and Win. What is both?
Well, Shop TDC got an Easter egg hunt where you could win prizes and giveaways.
Tell me more. How could I enter? How could I win?
So you go on shoptdcgroup.com and sign in and Easter eggs will pop up.
Okay, so then what?
You crack open the egg and use the code to redeem the prizes and discounts at checkout.
Okay, I like this. So how much I could get up to?
Up to 30% off your purchases, plus free gifts and free shipping.
Up to 30%? This sound good, boy.
But wait, don't forget you can win weekly prizes too, not just the discounts.
Well, Sean, this is a lot of giveaways and prizes, boy. Well, excuse me there. Let me come off my phone because I'm going on shoptdcgroup.com to shop, hunt and win.
Hunt ends April 6. Terms and conditions apply. Shop anywhere, shop anytime.
And we're back with Farm Report, and we have Meshach and Esmond, and we have Meshach, the president of the consortium, and Esmond, a floor member of the consortium. Yes, and so welcome back, both of you. It's been a while. The Farm Report has been missing the last 2 weeks, and so we want to say welcome back.
But I heard it's been missing because of good stuff, because the rain's been falling, so the gentleman's been getting their farm on, and it's been being bountiful and all of that. Can I say that, gentlemen?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
No problem.
Again this morning.
Yes.
I am here, as you mentioned earlier, with the president himself of the consortium.
Yes.
And it's always a great joy when we have the visionary with us. So I think he's going to give us some background this morning as to where we are, where we were, where we are now, and where we're heading.
Yes.
But before we do so, I want to give a little shout out to the Mansion Group farmers, in particular Mr. Marvin and Loretta Patrick, who has been doing an excellent job for the Mansion Farmers Group, a premier producing group in the Mansion area. And that group has been going for about 20 years now, over 20 years.
Okay.
And I think they have done an excellent job in keeping the group together. There's still a lot of work to do in the group, but over the past 4 or 5 years, they have been the glue that really kept us together. So I just want to really thank them for that this morning. Secondly, there are a number of farmers who ran into me over the period, and they have asked that we continue to speak on the consortium, but we must remember, even though they're not a part of the consortium, that we are also speaking on their behalf. So I want to assure them this morning that the conversation is not only about the consortium, but about farmers in general.
Yes.
And even though sometimes we might slip a little bit and say for our members, our partners and stuff like that, we are here to represent the entire farming community, whether or not you're part of the consortium. And so, again, we will hear from the president of the consortium this morning.
Yes. Thank you, Esmond. Thank you for having me again this morning.
No problem.
It's been a while.
Yes.
And I want to just utter some appreciation for Mr. Troy Flanders, who has been here holding this strength for us for a tremendous amount of time. I think he's suffering from a little back injury at this time, and so he's going to have to be out. And so we have to step in as well and perform our own task and duty. But he has done a wonderful job for us over the period of time. I also want to extend the same appreciation to persons like the Patricks as well, as elders. They are the ones who have really been giving some encouragement. You heard just now that they've been in this thing for about 20-something years, at least as a group. and so they have been giving encouragement to the leadership to continue and so on. And there are also some younger members of the consortium who have come on board and are very, very involved in the production process. Persons like Andre Patrick, Phil Cooper, Jadel Phillip, and others, too many to mention at this time, who are very enthusiastic about the assignment at hand and have been making their contributions steadfast. And I also want to show some appreciation to those in the leadership who have stood the course over a very rough period of the last 8 to 10 months or so, having to engage with different actors in the sector, and they have remained true to the cause and to the responsibility that we know we have to shoulder. So I want to say thank you to all those persons, and to WINFM for having hosted us for this period of time and helping us to get our voice out there. It has been truly a remarkable experience. I wanted this morning to quickly, not a long period at all, just reflect a little bit, and just to note that the consortium process would have started back in 2021. We are now in 2024, and our initial thrust was to collaborate as much as possible with all members of the sector as possible, particularly the ministry, who's a lead agency. One of the fundamental or pivotal questions that we wanted to ask ourselves when we started out is, how can the producer impact policy that stands to affect them, rather than just lay down and let the policy affect them, you know? And so we started down that course to see how we can make or prefer better policies to the ministry, and also seek to have inclusion in the development of those policies. We did this via a series of meetings, as we indicated, over the years, starting as far back as 2021. We have gone through the various levels of government, and we've gone out to the private sector and in the media. We've done a number of engagements. We have also done some engagement with the farming community as much as we could. We've done tours around Nevis and around St. Kitts for the different farms to look at their farming practices, their systems, their concerns, their challenges. And, you know, these have done well to inform the kind of discussions and engagements we are having. We have, as I mentioned a bit earlier, we've engaged in the media through WINFM, Freedom FM, SK Newsline, regional platforms and all. Just in an effort to keep the conversation on agriculture going, because if you're not in conversation, then the policies would reflect such. And so we want to make sure that we keep this very important issue alive and well. At this point, we can conclude about three things. We have found that there is very little appetite for what the consortium is proposing, generally speaking, in the official circles. The policy of only do as I say still kind of prevail predominantly. Though we've had meetings, there's hardly any real change to date. And the attitude and posture that we've met has maintained for a very long time. But I want to say that the consortium is not at all discouraged. We are still encouraged, and we still continue to seek after the ministry and other partners to engage with them and to collaborate with them, but also to seek to have better inclusion as it relates to the discussion issues that affect us. Now, these are, as we say, are not a full stop for us. We're still writing that book, the production book, and we have to make sure that these are punctuation marks are saying let's go further. Now, one of the issues coming out of the 2023 last quarter is the notion that, you know, what do we do now? Where do we go from here? We had gotten some not so good feedback or assistance or collaboration and so on. Where do we go from here? And we engaged in a meeting in the last quarter of 2024, really good meeting, very good showing from our membership, one of the largest showing we've had to date. And then we presented there what would be our next steps in terms of actions. Okay. And we highlighted those, and I would like to share those with you, because we not only share them there for the first time, but we allow the membership who are present to take away those ideas, and then had another chance again in this quarter on March 14th to come back to look at them and to go into depth with them and so on. So we had a very extensive meeting on March 14, 2024. Right? All right, thanks. So the consortium has decided on a number of things. One, that we are going to be doing what you call an assessment and strategic plan. We've already have the funding approved for it by a local agency that has local standing here.
Your Cato name, how do you?
Yes, the Small GEF program, the Small Grants program here, the Global Environmental Facility has approved at least the funding for us that we should be getting into our accounts maybe in the middle of this month. We are told. I want to thank Ms. Sharon from the AICA local agency as well in the agricultural sector, who came and gave us some support in preparing the initial concept document for us to get that approval in the first place. And also
specific amount in the fund?
Yeah, it was around $5,000 to bring on a consultant to do the work. I mean, sometimes we ask why we can't write for grants and so on, but the members, the leadership and so on, are also fully engaged in their own work. You have persons who are fully dedicated to these things, so we might as well let the professionals come in and deal with those things. Okay. I might be able to write a proposal, but it might take me a long time because of the myriad stuff I have to do to bring in somebody who can really dedicate that. So the assignment really is that you will do a full assessment of the consortium, the members and so on. The assessment schedule is being created, or the instrument, which is called a survey. The consultant has already been on ground. He was on ground for March the 14th. He was in our meeting on March 14th, where he made his initial introductions. And from that, he has been able to put together a number of questions, we drafted them, we look at them as a leadership, send back our feedback and so on. And so that tool is going to be able to roll out or deploy over the next 2 weeks so that we can begin to get those responses. After which, we will also have some in-depth interviews and surveys done amongst the leadership and other members, not just in the consortium, but persons who are very pivotal in the sector, who could also give some input as to what they think the direction ought to be, of course. Mm-hmm. So that, as I say, will be happening over starting in the next 2 weeks or so, but it will span about 2-3 months of assessment and development of the strategic plan. Based on that, not only would you have a strategic plan, but you have an action document, a plan of action document that can be used and will be used in order to create our resource mobilization strategy. You have to map those things against the agencies and so on, whether internationally, locally, or regionally, to see how you can attract funding to support what we want to achieve. That is one aspect of what we would have discussed with the membership, and that got full endorsement from the membership. We haven't had any objections to this move because we always spoke of putting together the consortium's roadmap. The other aspect we were discussing heavily, and Esman can support me here, is the graduation of the organization from that of just a community-based organization to that of a more not-for-profit entity, perhaps registering with the company registrars. You might know the correct terminology for the company's registrar, to be a not-for-profit entity, which will allow us to do more than just what we can do as a community-based organization. Nice. So it's about increasing the legal teeth of the organization and allow us to have conversations, with who we need to have conversations with. That person is also is on board, working on that for a period of time now to make sure that our documents, our legal documents are put together. I'm hoping to get something, at least a first draft by this week. And so those things, I believe, those two things together as part of building the capacity of the organization. We've also sought to establish relations with regional bodies. Before, on a program where I was present, we spoke of the Jamaica Agricultural Society. I've had the opportunity to sit with the Deputy CEO while I was in Jamaica in February, to look at how they can help to support us. As was mentioned by Troy at the time, that organization has 130 years of experience in this field. They are by no means a perfect entity, but they will be able to help us, and hold our hand a bit on a number of issues. And so they are just waiting to see what comes out of our process in terms of developing our strategy so that they can, take guidance from it as to what they can really help and assist us with.
You mentioned, I want to cut you there just for a second. You mentioned them helping you on varying issues. What are some of the issues that you think they can help you to resolve?
Well, if you're an organization for over 130 years, you perhaps have seen it all, right? But essentially, capacity developmental issues, also networking, they're going to help us to usher us into that community, that space.
Okay.
But what they're looking for more from us at this time is to see that document that we produce, because then it will be more targeted rather than all over the place. Okay. So that document is going to inform the kind of support and so on that we're going to seek and get from them. Okay. All right? Also, too, I have been in conversation. I received a call from the president of the Carty. I can't remember the full acronym. I can't spell out the acronym right now. But the Carty is a regional group that's seek to set up chapters in different countries. And with that, it is basically set up to provide a number of services for farmers through those groups. And so we have already completed our membership document. We should be making the official application sometime this week as well. But speaking with the president himself, he's very much happy and optimistic about our participation. They've been looking forward. We've had local representatives here, persons like Solomon, and I have to give much praise to Solomon Morton, who is also the president of the St. Kitts Farmers Cooperative, who has been leading up on this for the time being. In fact, we are about to participate as much as we can in a regional project as it relates to the planting of tree crops throughout St. Kitts and Nevis. And we are hoping that through our group and others that we can be able to facilitate this project and so on. And we fully stand. Solomon is also a leader of the consortium, so we fully stand behind him on this project and with this group. But we are making also our official application as we speak, while at the same time supporting him in his efforts. So these are just but a number of the things that we are looking to have done sometime this year, because persons always ask, what's next? But we believe that we've done a lot of the engagement work, a lot of the discussions. We've gone to many of the persons we thought were key parties. We've spoken to the high and lows of government. And now we are saying it's time now to really perform that assessment and put a strategy in place and bring to march and the course forward.
So definitely from what we have been hearing from you this morning, the consortium is putting in place, not just going out there haphazardly and not just meeting, but really putting in place the legal parameters to expand when it comes to getting funds and when it comes to in terms of having responsibilities and officers, because you spoke about the registration of it as a non-profit organization and going to the register of companies and stuff like that. So it shows the work and depth that you guys are doing, and that's commendable.
Thank you.
And how does this, Mishak, translate to the everyday farmer? Because the institutional work or framework sometimes seems apart from the everyday farming practice. And so how would you connect the two?
In a lot of the, and thanks for that question, in a lot of the assessment reports across the region about farmers and the farming sector, agriculture sector, there's a great lack of, in terms of institution framework to support. What we're trying to do is to put that in place. Farmers, like you check the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, for example, they're there for the business community. There's no go-between for the farming community. But in terms of the tangible stuff we're talking about, the organization that we are linking in with is to provide leveraging direct support to our farming community. I've been with some of these heads of organizations, and they point to, for example, how they're dealing with the issues of insurance, crop insurance, even pension. I've seen some groups where they bring in particular seeds in bulk. For example, in JS would bring in, through a group called RADA, bring in containers of white potato seeds that they can, support their production and so on. So it's only in organizing ourselves like this we begin to converse with parties like this abroad, because there's no way that they will give it to a community-based organization who don't have really checks and balances and have transparency framework in place. So right now we have to begin to build that to say that we are really open for business, because at the end of the day too, we have to also be able to do transactions.
Yes.
Right, and I envisage that we're not going to be doing transactions of no 50 and no 40 and no $30,000. You're talking in hundreds of thousands to provide the kind of support and investment needed in the sector, at least for not just for our members, but those who want to become members in the future. So training, for example, is one of those areas. When I was here in the last sit down, I pointed that the reports have shown that all of the trainers, the persons who receive training over the years, majority, 90+% of them have gone into the ministries to work in the departments. They're not in the field. So that leaves you with farmers seeking to get that kind of technical know-how and knowledge transferred. And so there's a shortage in that regard. So even in our last meeting, we are in conversation, and we got the commitment of an agronomist out of Trinidad to support us with some training in the near future, right? So this kind of network we are talking about is really coming directly to the farmers, and hands down, the entire room was pleased with the presentation of what they're hearing about the training that they're going to receive, because it's directly to what they're actually doing. You have to remember too, much of the farmers them started off, just by the, I will try something, it work, and then I'll do it again, and all of a sudden you might accumulate a certain amount of knowledge. They have not gotten over time that direct technical training from beginning to end. The full life cycle of the crop, right, or of the animal, and so on. And that's the second thing we'll talk about as well. We also went a bit into the livestock end of things as well. We had a young lady from the Ministry of Agriculture, Delisha, who was with us as well, and she's very passionate about small ruminants and so on, and we gave her an opportunity to really meet with our farmers as well. And they too are very enthusiastic and encouraged by that kind of intervention. So leveraging the support from agencies requires us to really level up. We achieve at least a certain level of consciousness that could really communicate across to the other parties. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, very important. And then I think of it when you say the registration of it as a non-profit. I'm thinking to perhaps subscriptions to be paid by members.
Yeah.
So you could have funding and really have that system that register, and then you have your AGMs, and then you have, So
you have a board, you have everything.
I'm thinking like how wonderful this organization could be once done and led properly, it could do wonders. You guys are doing really great things.
I kind of hesitate sometimes to share what my vision is, because it should not be my vision. It should really be our vision. But I anticipate and envisage that there should be, just like the chamber, have a dedicated office that is supporting the members of the organization and further afield. I know of organizations who ensure that they keep records and all, and certain things, or who write present profiles on behalf of their farmers if they're going to do business, going with the bank or these kind of different things. So they're keeping that pertinent record, a full slate, photograph, date of birth, crops you plant, where you're planting them, everything about the farmer is right there. And these are the kind of things you need when you're going to go to an institution like a development bank or a national bank, to somebody say, I recognize this person, I certify that this person is a farmer and has been in the field professionally for the last 10 years, 5 years. Yeah, it carries some weight with it.
Is there a motto for the consortium? You said you don't want it to be your vision. What is the vision of? I think I understand some of the vision, but is there a vision for the consortium, and is there a motto?
Well, we are working on that vision right now,
Okay.
and we have to do it kind of collectively.
Okay.
One of the things we don't want is that if one of the leaders leave, we leave with them. It has to be there and ingrained with the group. That's why you say we're moving to this process here. If you have a board at the end of the day, I may not be the president, and I'm fully aware of that, and I'm open to that. Just this morning, I had a conversation with a younger guy in the group, and I said, listen, I really need you to step up. You understand? You're going to have to come up. And he said, Bishop, but is that all hard? I said, well, I'll be here. It's not easy for anyone, but he's encouraged, and he said, look, and you ready, just call me. Say, Billy starts today. So, it's just a matter of, giving that opportunity at the same time. I mean, you have to build capacity. And speaking on the issue of capacity, you have to remember, too, most people think of capacity building as going into a room and getting some kind of training, like how we go in school and get in a classroom. But taking people along with you in these rooms. I would have said to him, you're going on the radio soon. So start preparing yourself. You have to get the information. You have to begin to, let's look at it together. Let's study it together. You will put your own stamp on it, and then you will go ahead. That's part of also, building the capacity of others, because you can't always think that you'll be the one, right? And otherwise, these organizations will not survive. And if you have groups, and when I sat with the guy in, sorry to call him the guy, Deputy CEO, Deran, in Jamaica, when you talk about what it took for an organization to run for 130 years, it can't be about this generation of farmers you're thinking about. You understand? So it has to,
would have been passed down.
He would have been failing right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have callers. We could take some calls.
Sure.
Okay.
Mishak, but I always had a question for you that I wanted to ask. Why did you leave corporate world for the farming world?
I didn't leave corporate world. I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer. It's just corporate. I'm doing business.
Okay. Let me put it this way then.
Why
did Mishak leave a shirt and tie to dirty his hands?
I do both.
Oh, you do both still?
I do both.
Okay, just making sure.
Is a call?
We have a call.
I'll take the call.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
I was hoping after the return of Farm Report that they would have had something positive to say about the relationship with the ministry. But it seems like the old adage, the more things change, the more they remain the same, applies here. I'm listening and I'm thinking, isn't this duplication of effort? Doing things like assessments and so on. I would have thought that the ministry would be in better place to do those. And something like getting an office, I would have thought that the ministry would jump at the opportunity to give you all space to do your thing, rather than impose overhead costs on something like the consortium, because I look at it as some kind of cooperative movement. Okay? So it's, you can always tell when an organization is dysfunctional. There's always an attempt to find blame, find scapegoats, put this on somebody, to take the heat off of yourself. I don't think that's good for any organization, government or otherwise. Okay, and I really think that perhaps it's the leadership that need to step up and make sure that these things, the cooperation and the support, all these things are in place if agriculture is to move forward. Otherwise, it's going to be more of the same. Regardless of what change, it's going to be more of the same. And it would be nice, honestly, if in the farm report it started out as our production is increasing, right? We need to see some kind of advancement rather than the same old problems, the same level of production or decrease. Okay, we badly need some good news, put it that way. Right?
All right.
That's my observation from listening.
I want to thank you for that. If I may respond. And the caller is right. When we started engaging very early on with the ministry, we had basically asked for things like this, even have a space where we could have meet and set up to do our things and so on. And of course, you would believe and think that you would get that kind of support. And we still do want to pursue that, but we just can't just wait around, because people will ask you still, what are you doing for yourself? So you have that quandary that you have to deal with, right? What we're doing, as I said before, is not even new. We spoke of other organizations who are doing the same thing. The ministry will tell you that they can't do everything for the group either. And we still have to struggle. Let the call come through. We still have to struggle
Yeah,
with
we
to
have
find
call.
recognition anyway.
Caller, go ahead. Good morning. You're live on Farm Report.
Greetings forwardly, IT. Greetings to your guests. You should have let Virgin finish because we're listening, we're online already. Greetings, man. Okay, we want to start by saying, echoing best wishes to farmers, all farmers. Consortium is here with us, and welcome forward to the airwaves. We missed you for a while, but we don't know. Yeah, we agree with the caller, and we know if we get to that level. It's just a matter of time, Give thanks to the collabs, with regional collabs. Jamaica is up in the production, and we can always benefit from, from whatever connection we have with them, and same with other areas in the region too, And in the federation, we know so we got good soil. It's just to do what we have to do. Together, we keep imploring for this togetherness in going forward with agriculture. I concern all of we, all of we. That is why we put out what we put out to bring about that unison going forward. It's not easy, but we're gonna get there. Try. We do. There's a method, where we use a remedy. With the back thing, it's Cassie tuna. This thing with the prick upon it. If you can get some and put it up in some water and drink the water, and use a lot of okra in your diet too.
Right.
No boil them out though. Soak the tuna and drink the water. It will help with the back issue. Once it ain't gone. And try not to do too much bending. Bend your knees. Instead of your back. Because we have to do with physical work still, apart from the machinery and whatever. We still have to do what we have to do. And best wishes to all. Farming is the way to go. His Majesty says agriculture is a sacred task. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot. Respect. But Jack, I want you to zero in again on the first caller.
Yes. Blessed love.
Because as you know, we discussed, and we wouldn't really want to go into detail as to why he would have made that comment. But at the same time, I think I want him to understand that we are not in any position to make any final comment on an ongoing situation. And while we understand what he's saying, and we also discuss what he's saying, there needs to be more evidence coming from both sides to support what he's saying, because a good relationship takes two. And we've been here for a very long time, and one of the things we keep saying that we're always ready and open for collaboration. But at the same time, while you're open for collaboration and while you're waiting, the ministry continues to do very much the same things. And so if there is any intent on having a good relation, even after we would have met, then some of the things that we were asking for, in principle, and we could have had to show a sign of good relation, and we have not seen any such thing. So I understand what he's saying, and we take what you're saying collectively, but this is our position at the time, and if things change, be sure that, and the caller was referring to some meetings that we've been having, some ongoing meetings that we've been having with the ministry. But what we're saying, we don't yet have enough evidence to support on a program like this, because we're not going to be able to walk back certain things. And we're saying once the ministry is serious, and I am in my humblest capacity and the air this morning saying, once the ministry is serious about collaborating and not just in words, the consortium position remains that we are willing and open to work with the ministry at all levels, at any levels. And as you say, this would have been a good gesture, and it would be less cost to incur if some of the work taken on by us was done by the ministry. But in 3 years, we've prepared this document. Should we wait much longer for the ministry to do what we have done in 3 years? And not only that, we did prepare this document in 3 years. We were met with severe objections to the document. So you're not having a conversation with somebody who is like-minded and maybe just require a little more time to help. And so you're going ahead because they say in February and this is March and we're pushing ahead. We're pushing ahead now because we have a number of farmers who have come on board and they say, we're depending on you, we're depending on the information, we're depending on the training, the institutional training, the capacity developing training. And we're saying, should we now halt this, turn it over to the ministry and sit back and wait to see? No, we can't do that. We have to continue, the journey continue. But if the ministry is saying, and as you could see this morning, our tone is different. I believe we came in a different tone. We gave some background to where we were, where we are, and where we want to be. We didn't go into, sorry.
Yes.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, and good morning, youngster. And good morning to the guys from the consortium. My problem, for a long time, anybody in me, so I decide to break things now. Why is it the farmers them can't get duty free coming through the customs? Why? Why? This thing is food and feeding poor people. Why? We shouldn't go down the road when you got empty, broke pocket man coming in this country. Getting the high duty free. Everything that want coming through the customs from we vagabond governments them. And you're going to tell me poor black farmers trying to feed the country, trying to meet a deadline to 2025, can't get duty free? Something wrong. The worst slave Carty used to tell me, when they come on the federal boat, the worst slave they brought down here. Half used to tell me so. I don't know what's in it. But hey, something wrong. No, why is the problem, my brother? Why is the problem? Why I cannot get that duty free? And I want to hear it. Let the country hear you. Have a good day.
All right. All right. Thank you, caller. I would like to, as this man asked me to earlier, to talk to the first caller a bit. I am grateful always for the encouragement and also the guidance as well, and even to express even words of objection, because we stand ready to amend ourselves where we know where we find we're going wrong. We're shown that way. We have been through a process which I indicated very, very much earlier. You ask about the production data and all these different things. We've had presentations solidly on this before, and I indicated very much earlier in my presentation today that we will have that coming again in a separate thing. I want that to be a solid thing, and I hope you're there to tune in. I've already spoken to our data person, and he's beginning the process of preparing it. As you're aware, we started our planting program as a consortium in September 2023. We're in it now. We should be coming out of it in the next month or two, when you think about it. And we are looking to use that information as well as to be a part of our planning and assessment document going forward, because it's very instructive as to what we are going to do in the next planting cycle. So you will get that information solidly and so on. I don't have information that the ministry would have. I'm going to speak about those who have decided to come together as a group to do this thing together. Over the years, and it's very interesting, over the years, we've heard things being said in the media without any objection to the idea that we need to come together. Farmers need to work together. And so your consortium is the bringing together of farmers to do what we've been called to do for a very long time. So to suggest even in a slight way that the ministry is to take charge of all of the things that we are talking about, there are persons who will have different views to that, right? And I do not subscribe 100% to what he's talking about. There are some things I believe the ministry will come in to deal with, but the ministry plays a facilitatory role. When I look at the mandate in the estimates book, the government estimates book on the budget, it indicates that institutional strengthening is one of those things they work on. Well, the farmer organizations are part of the agricultural system of any country. Therefore, a part of your budget should at least, on your plans, should speak to the building up of these groups and so on. And we are looking to see what we can do for ourselves on our own end.
Right.
We have a caller.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
The cash right we speaking. It's like, man, understand what's going on. When you look at it, even for 5 months, Agriculture Department I'm speaking of. The permanent secretary was very instrumental in getting the bulldozer on Milan. Going for almost 5 months. And Milan still ain't finished cleaning. Milan just be open. It's like Mr. Oh Lord, the president.
Misha.
He mentioned some figures, right? You know, $20,000 and $30,000, talking about 100,000 and so, and upwards, right? You plant 3,000 seasoning pepper seedlings. Each tree gonna give about £1.50 pounds. I'll be very generous. That's 3,000 to 5,000 pound of seasoning peppers, right? Multiply that by the cost per pound for the seasoning peppers per week. You'll understand the kind of money the farmer would be making. And this is what these two men is preventing me from inheriting. Nasty. When these two men harvesting every week, but the man, this thing here sounds so embarrassing, right? It's about a mile it costs me in pipes to get water on my farm. Fencing, drip lines. Done build a nice mountain house. The only thing I didn't have in the mountain house was electricity, flush toilet, everything I had. Don't have had peppers leaving, saying it's going in Canada. They're stabbing me in my back and think me ain't watching. But we look at what they're going to get involved in presently now. Bringing in white men to put us to pay for the sunlight. That's what they're doing, putting us back into slavery. And then a man was on the radio yesterday, on the next radio station, and he sounds so glorifying it. He ain't called a problem, you know. What they're supposed to be doing, they ain't doing, you know. Get involved because you can't be right where you can't farm, I can't plant nothing at all at Milan. Nothing absolutely at all. I've been going for 5 months. Miguel Fleming and the Minister of Agriculture. And for a fact too, you know. No love minister, but he got to not toe. He got to not toe. Because I've been on the radio for too long. He got to not toe. Good boy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. I also, well, let me first acknowledge Castro Tweed as a member of the consortium. He has been very, very animated and showing at our meetings and so on when he could. I understand that his issues are outstanding for a long time now, and he has been calling every week as much as possible. That's what you call dedication to his craft and trade. I could feel it in his voice every time he speaks. He stopped me on the road every time and so on, and sometimes you feel like what I really can do to help such a person. I would hope that soon enough that some relief will come to him. I hope that the ministry officials are listening to him as well. Earlier, Esman spoke about our tone. He's not a manufactured tone. This is the position we took since in December in our general meeting, right? If I'm coming to you all the time and I'm not getting anything, it's time to focus internally. Maybe I'm doing something wrong or saying something wrong, or maybe don't have the level or the qualification to talk to you yet. I'm not against the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm not against the minister. I'm not against the PS. I'm not against the director. Nobody in the ministry has anything that I want, right? This is not about them. This is about our membership and the farmers who are like-minded out there. And I think we reserve that right to build up an entity in our organization. And we are saying, as this man said earlier, while doing what we're doing, we could also engage, right? We have some things that we have already committed to with our membership. They're looking forward to see these things. And every day we converse on these things to see how we're going to get them do. The things that are outlined today are priority for our organization. I can't accept somebody coming to say that these are the responsibilities for the government. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, people are still going to question you about why you want everything from the government.
And that is what I thought when you were talking about these things. How could someone say, well, shouldn't that be for the government, when it is that you guys have approached the government before? You've said you've approached them with this. Nothing has been happening. And at the end of the day, you have to take it upon yourselves to create a structure. Look at associations out there, as you have rightfully said. You look at the business community, you see the Chamber of Commerce. You do have a ministry or department for small businesses, but when you have business associations too, it helps to strengthen the support, and it goes a long way. When you have a legal framework in place, persons start to take persons who, the same persons, but differently now, see more seriously. And so it's a part of the process. And I do think that this is a step in the right direction in getting these necessary changes so you could have a greater platform to ask for more and to do more. Because if it is that the ministry isn't providing the assistance that you have asked, or even the guidance, where do you just sit there and just wait, or do you put plans in place to take it to the next level?
I've seen too in the same discussion, not just with JS but also the group out of Trinidad, that even the JS has an office space and everything and a budget that is given to them by the government itself. I think right now they're going through that problem where can you be this entity and still be challenging government policy? Yes. And so they're going through that transition period. This is after 130 years, right, of being in existence. So they understood, though, the importance of having institutional frameworks such as these that span over all of the parishes and the various communities, because you must be able to, pull your membership, pull the farming community together by some other means. But to me, too, it's a very hard task for the ministry to deal with every individual farmer. Imagine everybody coming up to you every day individually, but nobody can come as a collective. And I can't speak, or the leadership can't speak for 120 members or more. It doesn't make sense. You put in too much burden in government and what is already a highly bureaucratic system, right? And so we are not going to get anything done that way. And so if I could come up with policy proposals that the ministry doesn't have to really fight too much on, and they can see the benefit of those things, no problem. It's for the benefit of the members at the end of the day. So I don't subscribe to that kind of thinking 100%. I understand the purpose, the intention of the Ministry of Agriculture. It's spelled out in all of the documents and so on. But one of their role is to facilitate the development of these organizations. We have protested very early on about some of the weakening of our cooperative societies around, because the members, the leaders, the presidents of these organizations have indicated those things to us very early on. Right, they are weak. Because of various reasons they are given, right? And they're hoping that they can get themselves revived. One of the things that the consortium has always been looking at is how can we provide more strength and support, not just to the individual farmer, but through these organizations, right? Because then you need somebody who could drive these things. For example, when we spoke about capacity development, we're talking about having leadership development training, group dynamics, and all these different things, how to areas of governance and strategic planning and all these different things. Many of these groups don't have that in a continuous way. You might have one or two persons, that person might leave, and then you don't have that recycle of individuals. So you have to provide
just to answer one of the caller too, he wanted to understand the process of the concession and why it is not easier for us. But we're out of time, so what we're going to promise him
I have one question for you guys before you go. Could you give us any kind of information about any maybe plans for the upcoming exhibition, agricultural exhibition? Nothing?
No.
Nothing to share? Okay, just wondered.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, probably, maybe Troy might be tasked with the
maybe next week
the responsibility of explaining to the caller the process of the concession and why it's so difficult for us. Right? So.
But allow me to close with this. And I think the first caller alluded to it, and Esmond also did. We are currently in conversation with the ministry, having received a request for dialogue on a number of issues. We're not in a position to disclose all of the areas of discussion and so on. But that one of the reasons why we are not venturing into those issues today is because I believe that these things are, what they say in law, sub judice or something like that, right? So but they're in discussion, and I believe for the potency and the sanity of the conversation we are going to have is not to, release anything in that matter and that regard. But it's a good thing that we are still in conversation. It is the hope, though, that something more material comes out at the back end. And so we are hopeful. But at the same time, though, we have to do the work on behalf of our membership.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I would say, too, in closing, I think it's fair enough when you said the folks are wondering if they can question the government. Mm-hmm. You should be able to hold each other's feet to the fire to accomplish one common goal. That's feeding our people by 2025 and being more self-efficient, being a more self-reliant country. So I think there's no iron team. Working together always works out. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you again.
No problem. Until next time, that was Farm Report.
Farm Report.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
The Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Back, Island Tea. We had so many. We have Rusty back. Rusty, hello.
Hey, Rusty.
Hello.
How are you?
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Loud and clear.
Okay, I just want to answer the question that I think Mac Mahan asked. I don't want to be funny about it, but if we look at St. Kitts, we realize that our population only build like 2-story houses, downstairs, upstairs. And Taiwan has millions of high-rise buildings, and other islands as well, Dubai, Singapore, those places. But we in the Caribbean are not really high-rise buildings. So yeah, when I was living in Market Street, I stand in any doorway when an earthquake came, and no problem. But imagine a 20, 40, 50, 60, even Ealing E, or 101 floors, standing in the doorway and the building coming down. It's not going to work. It's obviously not going to work. So that's not a good thing for us here in these countries, but in the Caribbean, yes, it will work. That's the point I wanted to make.
Okay. I hope Mr. McMahon is listening and he got the answer.
I'm sorry?
I hope Mr. McMahon is listening and he got the answer that he was looking for.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. And that goes for a lot of stuff because people think because Taiwan is small. Taiwan, the only country in the Caribbean, I think, that is bigger than Taiwan might be Guyana. I think maybe Cuba or one of those not. But every other country in the Caribbean, Jamaica down to Grenada, I mean, all of us can fit into Taiwan many times. I actually worked it out on Google. St. Kitts can fit into Taiwan 120 times.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting to know. Okay, so
all right, guys. The show was really good. I really wanted to call in on the farm table stuff, but I blocked that. But thanks a lot. I appreciate everything.
No problem.
All right, Rusty.
Yes,
and we're glad that you're good, and we hope to hear from you again because you see, people are excited to hear you when you're on.
Yeah, all right.
Stay
That's
safe.
another story. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yes.
Bye. Have a good one.
Yes.
Oh, it's 9:57. Oh, boy. It's amazing how time flies. It's our hump day show today. I would say it was a very good one. We went from speaking about the earthquake to speaking about violence to speaking about our food and our farmers. And what else is on our plate, Azard? What else you have on your mind for today?
I just want to say, I want to express birthday wishes to my sister. She is 27 now.
She didn't want her age out there?
Yes.
She's going to get you.
No, she's not.
You never tell a woman's age.
I already posted it on my WhatsApp.
Shajane is going to get you. You should not.
Also, want to wish my cousin as well, Tristan Gumbs, happy birthday. Yes.
Your whole family celebrating, including you soon.
Oh yes, I have. April is a busy month. April is a
lots of gifts to buy.
Very busy month.
Okay.
Yeah.
My friend in St. Vincent celebrated yesterday. My cousin is gonna celebrate on the lunar eclipse. I'm just awaiting this eclipse. I'm just thinking about it every day. And every day I see something weird. You know how social media try to fill your mind with all kind of things?
Yes.
I know, because it says the U.S., but let's hope that it shines over here, because the moon shines for everybody.
And of course, everybody's celebrating in the beautiful month of April.
The beautiful month because it's a person's month.
And those persons who are celebrating birthday today, all of you, happy birthday.
Yes.
Have
the best birthday ever.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
These Aries folks.
Well,
and Taurines.
I'm a Taurus.
Yes. Good morning, Carly. You're live on Island C.
Yes, good morning. Thank Rusty for that. I guess we should glean from that if we're in a high-rise building in an earthquake, we should get out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's it? Yeah. I guess that would make sense, except that though when you're low down, if the building is collapsing, I would imagine you stand less chance of survival than if you're on top and coming down on the others. I don't know.
I think what he said is the best thing, Mr. McMahon. You get to an empty area where it is, nothing. perhaps
you get out of the building.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And get to an empty area.
Okay. Well, that's.
And
good
it's so
advice.
important to say empty area because buildings, once
Do
you get
fall.
all the buildings, buildings can fall on a
Yeah.
person. So it's best to get into a vacant spot as much as possible.
Again, with that farm report, it's kind of concerning. It's you get the impression that, you know what this reminds me of? You remember when in 2015, I think it was, or thereabouts, when the new government came in, there was this call by the Prime Minister then, don't come to me, go to the functionary. You know? It's as if everybody's passing the buck. The buck stops with the leadership, with those we put in power to lead us.
Yeah.
Right? They're the ones who are ultimately in charge of making things work.
But what happens when you go to them and they don't share your vision and they don't listen to you?
Well, you do like what I guess the consortium is doing. You make your positions public. I really don't think a lot of this should have been public. These are essentially technical matters. I guess which would be boring to most of your listeners.
Okay,
they're
Mac.
necessary, yes. They're necessary things, identifying problems and finding solutions. But
so, Mr. Mac,
I don't think hearing this in public is probably the best way. But if they're not listened to, if they see no progress, they have every right to come to the public and express.
I mean, we have to go now, but you say that, but persons do listen when they're on. So it shows that whatever they're saying is of interest.
Except that you get the impression that progress is painfully slow. That's the problem.
At least now
So
you know what's happening.
They might hear. I don't know how much they listen or take advice. I don't know.
And
okay, Mac.
Yes.
We have to.
Because of them, we are better informed. And so information is important and appreciated. I want to say thank you to everyone who called in, who shared their views, who listened, who viewed. Do have a wonderful Wednesday.
Yep, happy hump day. Stay safe.
Fruta full of vitamin thing. Real fruit juice, not full of vitamin. Pop open the goodness, just dive in. Fruta every night, fruta every morning. It's the amazing taste.